A man has been found guilty of killing a woman before hiding her body in bushes next to a Leeds supermarket nearly a fortnight later, has been jailed today. The body of Theresa Jordan, known as Terri, was found by a member of the public concealed in bushes next to the boundary wall of the Asda store in Kimberley Road, Hare Hills, shortly after 3 p.m. on June 23, 2022. The length of time between her death and when she was found presented significant challenges, but officers were able to identify the 32-year-old, initially from tattoos and later confirmed by DNA, and her family were informed. A post-mortem examination was unable to establish the cause of her death, but the pathologist described the circumstances as very concerning. Asphyxiation was considered a possible cause. A scene was put in place to undergo forensic examination, and detectives began to carry out enquiries to identify her and establish the circumstances in which she died. Checks on CCTV in the area showed a male shortly after midnight on June 23 pulling a wheelie bin towards where Terri's body was found in Kimberley Road. Searches involving a specialist cadaver dog, trained to detect human remains, led to the recovery of the wheelie bin used in nearby Clifton Mount the next day. Detectives from West Yorkshire Police Homicide and Major Enquiry Team and officers from Leeds District CID continued to carry out extensive enquiries and work to establish Terri's recent movements, with the last confirmed sighting of her being on June 11. Mark Metcalfe was subsequently identified as the male on CCTV, with footage showing him taking the wheelie bin containing Terri's body from his address in Compton Crescent to where he left her in Kimberley Road. He was then seen walking back towards his address with the wheelie bin, which was then found in Clifton Mount. Enquiries showed he had withdrawn cash from an ATM at a nearby shop before traveling with others to buy drugs. Forensic evidence linked both Terri and Metcalfe to the wheelie bin, and items of rubbish left with her body in Kimberley Road were connected to him. Examination by crime scene investigators and forensic scientists of the address in Compton Crescent showed both Metcalfe and Terri's blood in the living room and her hair found at the bottom of the stairs.
It was established that she and a friend had been at Metcalfe's home on June 11th taking crack cocaine and drinking heavily. The two women left after a fallout with Metcalfe, but she returned a short time later and was attacked and killed. The motive has never been established. She was stripped of her clothing and placed in the wheelie bin outside the address until questions from others about a strong smell forced him to move it. A housemate had heard bangs on the night of the incident and seen Metcalfe with a cut to his hand. A support worker who visited his home found him cleaning the house in an anxious state. He was initially arrested on July 1st, 2022, on suspicion of Terri's murder. He denied any involvement and was released on bail while detectives continued to build up an evidential picture of his involvement and liaise with the Crown Prosecution Service. On March 5th this year, Metcalfe answered his bail and was charged with Terri's murder and preventing the lawful burial of her body. He pleaded not guilty to both offences and was found not guilty of murder, but was convicted of manslaughter and of preventing the lawful burial of her body following a trial at Leeds Crown Court, which concluded on September 20th. Today, 10 December, Metcalfe, aged 40, of Ashton Mount, Hare Hills, was sentenced to 14 years for manslaughter and 3 years for preventing the lawful burial of her body.